So sorry this video is coming late. I saw a pretty girl, so I had to stop and dance. As a fraghead and a perfume collector, it pains me that many people really don't know much about perfumes. So that being said, I present to you Smelling Good 102. Everything you need to know about perfumes. I'm Zode, and I welcome you to the Art of Perfumery. You see, many people really don't know what they use in terms of perfumes. Granted, it works for you, but believe me when I tell you this, nothing beats you having an accurate knowledge of what you're using, when to use them, and how to use them, especially when it comes to perfumes. But before I go on, if you are new here, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification so you'll be notified whenever I post a video. Make sure you like the video and make sure you comment whatever you have to say, because yeah, I'd really love that. Thank you. I'm going to explain some terms, so when you go to a perfume shop or when you hear terms like sillage, projection, you know what exactly that they're talking about. I'm going to speak on the types of perfume based on concentration, based on scent profile, and based on usage. Then I'll speak on the art of perfume, and this will cover the storage, how to use your perfumes, how to apply them, how to make them last longer, and what you should really be wearing at a particular time. So let's start with the terms. Number one, sillage. This is spelled Sillage. But believe me when I tell you this, it's not pronounced the way it's spelled. It's not English, it's French. So it's pronounced sillage, not sillage. Because I go to some perfume shops and I hear things like, oh, does this have a good sillage? Please, it's not sillage, it's sillage. Sillage, okay? Sillage is the scent trail left by a perfume, or rather, it's how long the perfume lingers in the air. Have you ever noticed that there are some people you walk behind them, and even if you are 2 meters away, you're able to perceive the scent left by their perfume? Well, that's because it has a good sillage. That's what it means. And it can be so intense that even if you were left blindfolded, even if you had your sense of smell as your only direction, or you had to depend on it, you'll still be able to tell them successfully. Now that's the power of a sillage. I've had many instances of people complimenting the sillage of my perfumes, but let me tell you guys one that really did stand out to me. It was back in school. I was to meet this girl for something. Yeah, or rather she was to come collect something from me, and I went to class to read that day. We were talking, and when I was trying to describe where I was to her, her phone got low and the battery died. And then I was kind of bothered because I really didn't know how she was going to locate me. But 30 minutes later, I saw her where I was and I was shocked. And I was like, how did you find this place? And she just said, oh, she was smelling traces of my perfume. And she was able to locate me. Now, I'm not lying, that's how intense it can be. But the second term I'm going to explain is projection. Projection simply is how far your perfume can be smelled by others, or the way I'd like to explain it better is the scent bubble your perfume has around you. How far the scent bubble of the fragrance you have around you goes. That's the way I'd like to explain projection. A perfume with a good projection will easily be smelled by people around you, and they're often long lasting and strong. Again, I remember in my second year in uni when we started working on cadavers. I studied human anatomy, so we work with dead bodies a lot. Now, if you know anything about dead bodies, or if you've seen or been around a dead body, you know that they really smell a lot. So just imagine being in a room filled with them, and I'm talking like 10 of them. It was a nightmare. And when we're dissecting and learning, and I noticed that there was this particular guy that was always trying to be around. Well, we were friends at the time, but okay, yeah, we were friends actually. I discovered that the way he was always trying to, come close to me in the lab was quite creepy, and yeah, it was really getting on my nerves. God forgive me. At a point, I thought he was gay until it became extra creepy. And I asked him, I was like, dude, yo, what is it? He told me, oh, I'm very sorry. I hope you're not offended. It's just that this place really smells so bad, and I'm able to perceive your perfume, and it keeps me going. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's nice. So if you want to make a great statement with your fragrance, then find a perfume that has a good projection, so that whenever you enter into a place, they'll feel it. And the third point I want to speak on is longevity. This basically is straightforward and is how the perfume lasts, is how long the perfume lasts. Some perfumes have a good performance and are long lasting, while some fade quickly. It just depends on the perfume and the ingredients used in the manufacturing of that perfume. That one is pretty more straightforward. There's really nothing much to say about the longevity of a perfume. If a perfume lasts long for you, it does. There's really nothing deep there. The fourth point I'm going to speak on is notes. Now, the perfume notes are the individual scents that you can detect in a fragrance. Perfume notes are sort of ingredients that make up the overall fragrance. You see, knowing the notes in a perfume is very important because it gives you an idea of what to expect from the fragrance. So that being said, there are three types of notes. Number one, the top note, and number two, the middle or heart note, and number three, the base note. So number one, the top note. Now, the top note is the initial scent you perceive from a perfume. Hold on. Yeah. That's the top note. That initial scent that you perceive in a perfume, that's the top note. In general, the top notes are light and refreshing, and they evaporate quickly. Now, they can last from anything 15 minutes to 2 hours. It depends on your body chemistry, and it depends on the perfume. It depends on the ingredients used to make them. So it's quite relative. There's no specific time on how a top note lasts. The second note is the middle note or the heart note. So you see, when the top note fades away, the middle note becomes more prominent, and it's what gives the perfume character and vibe. The middle note is the heart of the fragrance, and it generally lasts longer than the top note. It can last anything from 2 hours to 5 hours. Depends on your body chemistry, depends on the make of the perfume, depends on the ingredients used in making the perfume. So there's no specific time, just like the top note, on how much or how long the middle note or heart note should last. The third note is the base note. Base note is the foundation of the fragrance, and it gives it longevity and depth. When the top and the middle note fades away, the base note becomes prominent, and they are generally rich and long lasting, and they can last from 5 hours to 10 hours, even 15 hours. Depends on the perfume, depends on your body chemistry, depends on many factors. It's completely relative. So now that you understand the perfume notes, I'm sure you'll now figure out why you'd love a particular fragrance now, and when you smell it like 2 hours later or 5 hours later, you have mixed opinions about it. So that's why you have to be really patient when looking to buy a perfume or something. First of all, when you go to a perfume shop, ask for a tester, and then apply that tester on your skin, spray it on your skin, then wait a while, smell it, perceive the top note, then wait hours after, smell it again, perceive the base note, sorry, the middle note or the heart note, then wait additional hours again and perceive the dry down, or what it really does smell like. Because you'll be surprised, you might like the first note and hate the middle and the base note. It's normal. And you can hate the top note but love the middle note and the base notes. So you just really have to be patient. In my case, I'll give you all an instance here. You see this perfume? It's called Club de Nuit Intense Man. I really don't like this perfume because it has this harsh synthetic lemon opening as the top note, and I'm not really a fan of it, but the dry down and the middle or heart note is amazing. So you see, it's possible for you to hit the top note of a fragrance, but just give it about 2 hours and you'll love it completely. So as the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover, or in this case, don't judge a perfume by the top note. When it comes to perfume concentration and classification, Eau de Toilette, that's EDT, is the lowest concentration. Okay, to be honest, that's not really the lowest. The lowest is Eau de Cologne and Eau Fraiche, but Eau de Cologne and Eau Fraiche are extremely rare, to the point I don't even think I've seen them up on my vast collection and perfume shopping. I really don't think I've seen them. So yeah, they're that rare, and yeah, for good reasons, please. So let's start with EDT, or rather Eau de Toilette. Now this is the lowest concentration, and it's typically around 5 to 15% perfume oil and 85% alcohol and other essentials that makes up the 100%. EDTs generally are less intense and concentrated than EDPs or perfumes, but don't make the mistake of thinking that EDTs isn't as good as EDPs or other perfumes, or even perfumes in this case. As a matter of fact, there are some EDTs that smell and have a better performance than some EDPs. Some EDPs even of that particular brand and scent. You'll be very surprised. I'll give you all an instance here as usual. Now, this perfume is called Valentino Born in Roma Coral Fantasy, and this one is called Raid by House of Latafa. Now, this is an EDT, this is an EDP, but this performs way better than this, long lasting, and smells better. So you see, don't always be fooled. The fact a perfume is EDT doesn't always mean you should, just discard it or treat it like trash, because you'll be surprised. You may want to ask why this happens. It can happen as a result of many factors, like let's say the brand, or rather the individual notes used in creating a fragrance. Many things can happen that makes it that way. But in general, the average longevity of an EDT is about 3 to 5 hours. But some are exceptional. Like this year, this pretty much lasts me the whole day. So the second concentration I'm going to speak on is EDP, or Eau de Parfum. Now this has a slightly higher concentration than the EDTs. It can have about 15 to 20% perfume oil, and the rest being alcohol and other substances. So this right here is an EDP. I'm pretty more of a fan of EDPs than EDTs or even perfumes. So generally EDPs or Eau de Parfums are long lasting and they have a strong scent. In all the perfume concentration, personally I really do love EDPs because they are just so balanced. Like this is an EDP, this is called After 9 p.m. If you know anything about this perfume, you know that it's the bomb. I pretty much prefer EDPs, and they last anything from 5 to 8 hours on skin and 10 to 12 hours on clothes, some even a week. I'm not playing. The third concentration I'll talk about is perfume. Now perfume are generally more intense. They're more intense than EDP and EDT, and they usually have about 20 to 30% of perfume oil and the rest being alcohol and other substances. I pretty much don't deal with perfumes a lot, but I have one. This is called Jean Paul Gaultier La Mort La Parfum. This is the only perfume fragrance I have, and the rest being EDP and EDT. Perfumes last the longest on skin and clothes, so yeah, be prepared. But although they usually come off as harsh and overpowering, so you must really love that fragrance in order to get it in a concentration of perfume. The last concentration I'll speak on is perfume oil. Many people don't know this, but perfume in its purest form is an oil, and not like this. Perfume in its purest form is an oil, and this comes out as unpleasant and overbearing, depending on the brand though and how it's made. If it's made good, then yeah, you will really love it. But they're more expensive and they last the longest. Personally, I won't even lie to you, I don't fancy perfume oils because they are not as versatile as EDT or EDP or even perfumes. It will shock you to know that perfumes are made for your skin, not your clothes. But sometimes we love to apply it on our clothes. We are not made to do that, we are not made to break the rules, but it just so happens that we love to try. Moving on, I'm going to speak on types of perfumes based on season and occasion. This might shock some of you, but you wear some perfumes with the season. The perfume you wear in December will not always smell good in July when it's summer. You understand? Yeah, and that's why, let's say you smell a fragrance on someone in December. You ask the person the name of the fragrance, the person tells you, and you save up money to get it. And let's say you get it in summer, let's say July or something, and then you're using it and it really does not give you the performance or even the scent that you imagine it to be. I understand how you may want to say that it's fake. I get it, really do, I really get it. But that may not always be the case. It may not be fake, it may just be that you are wearing it at the wrong time. Recall, you smelled it on that person in December when it was cold and winter, and you are spraying it in July or August when it's summer. And what should that tell you? That should tell you that that perfume is a winter fragrance. Which brings me to winter fragrances. Winter fragrances are fragrances that are meant for the colder months, and they're usually warm and cozy, and they contain notes of vanilla, cinnamon, and amber. Okay, of course, like these are not always the notes in a winter fragrance, but these are majorly, like, these are the major notes. And these fragrances are often warm and cozy. I'll give you all an instance of a winter fragrance. This right here is a sweet fragrance. Now, sweet fragrances are winter fragrance, okay? Majorly. Now, this is called Camber by House Latafa. This is really, really sweet, and the top note is vanilla. This is a winter fragrance. This one is called Stronger With You Intensely by Emporio Armani. The nickname of this fragrance is called Christmas in a Bottle. So I think it's craziness for you to attempt wearing it in the summer. And which other one again? Okay, this one over here is called Valentino Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. It's a winter fragrance. So yeah, these are just some examples of winter fragrances. The second type of fragrances are called summer fragrances. Now generally these are light, uplifting scents that are perfect in the summer. In general, summer fragrances have notes of fruit, citrus, and flowers in them, which give them this energizing vibe for the summer. And as usual, I'll give you all some instances of summer fragrance. This right here is called After 9 a.m. Dive. This is summer fragrance. What other one again? This one here is called Aventus Blue. For men, this is summer fragrance. So yeah, these are just examples of summer fragrances. And to be honest, I really don't do much summer fragrances because anything that makes me go out in the sun, I try to avoid it. And yeah, I really don't like going out in the day that much. So yeah, that's why I have more of winter fragrances. Third type of fragrance are called versatile fragrance. As the name implies, these are fragrances that can be worn all year round for any occasion at all. Examples are, okay, this 1 Million by Paco Rabanne. This is summer fragrance. Sorry, this is a versatile fragrance. This one is called Sahib by House of Latafa. It's also versatile. Which other one again? I saw one here. Okay, yeah, this is called Assad by House of Latafa. It's a versatile fragrance. All year round, anytime, any day. The fourth type of fragrance are intimate fragrance or date night fragrance, or as I would like to call them, panty droppers. They are called intimate fragrances because they don't project for the whole world to smell. They just project for that special person being close to you at that particular time. You know, as a guy, when you smell so good and you approach a girl, she grabs you and she's like, you smell so good. Now, that's a top tier compliment. Like, for someone like me that hates compliments, you smell so good is the only compliment I like because I know how much I spend on perfumes. I remember I posted a picture of myself a certain time and this girl saw it and she was like, can I be one of your perfumes? Because I want to be on you all day long. Oh god.
You go explain because no evidence.
Calm down. I get evidence. When I saw this message, it wasn't even the fact that a girl told me this that got to me. What I was thinking was, how the hell did she think of this thing? Because I was like, even me as a guy, I've not thought of something like this. Just to digress a bit, I've never really understood why men have a problem with the fact that women don't officially approach men the way men officially approach women. You see, to be honest, I really love it the way it is right now because from what I've heard from the mouths of women, I put it to you, if women officially are the ones to woo and approach men, we are finished. Just to add in this too, I'm sure you must have heard of designer fragrances and I'm sure you must have heard of niche fragrance. So I'm going to explain for you right now. Designer fragrances are made by designer brands and they are made to be mass appealing. So I'm going to give you an instance here. Valentino is a designer fragrance. Emporio Armani is a designer fragrance. Okay, so yeah, these are just some examples of designer fragrances. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that fragrances made by designer brands are called designer fragrance. That's just the meaning. While niche fragrance, now niche fragrances and fragrances that are made by companies that specialize in making fragrance. Okay, now they are not always as mass appealing as designer fragrances and they are made with quality ingredients. Yeah, and the fact that they are not mass appealing or rather not always mass appealing, it shouldn't mean you shouldn't get them, because if you like something, why care about what people think, right? Let's talk about fragrance families. So number one, floral fragrances. Now these are fragrances that are made from the extraction of the oils of the petals of most plants. So let's say rose, lily, jasmine, and these are floral fragrances. Fragrances that smell like rose, lily, jasmine. Those are floral fragrances. They are often feminine or romantic. Personally, I really don't think I have any floral fragrance, but I'm thinking of getting some soon. Fresh fragrances are majorly clean, and they give this aquatic accord. They have notes of aquatic accord. They have notes of green leaves in them, and they majorly give this vibe of freshness. I'm sure you must have heard of blue fragrances. Now, blue fragrances are also a type of fresh fragrance. Okay, so I'll give you all an example here. This one right here, after a 9 a.m. dive, it's a fresh fragrance, and it's also a blue fragrance. So you see, they're very nice and they're versatile and can be used for everyday use most of the time. Citrus fragrances are uplifting and they give this burst of vibe and energy. Okay, and they are made from notes of lemon or orange. They are being described as playful, and to be honest, it's really hard for you to miss them. Woody fragrances. Now, woody fragrances are earthy and grounded, and they have notes of cedar or patchouli in them, amongst other notes, and they evoke this sense of nature, and they can either be feminine or masculine. Also, I'm sure you must have heard of oud fragrances. Now, oud fragrances are also a type of woody fragrances, but they just give you this Middle Eastern vibe. Oriental fragrances. Now, these are rich and exotic, and they have notes of amber, vanilla, and some spices in them. They give this, warm, sensual vibe, and they're perfumes that when you wear, they make you smell somewhat edible. So finally, let's talk about the art of perfumes. Now, in this second phase, I'm going to speak on proper application of perfume, proper storage of perfume, pricing, how to apply your perfumes correctly, and lastly, I'm going to speak on you building your own perfume collection, what you need and what you don't need. So first things first, let's talk about the storage of a perfume. Now, perfume normally don't have expiration dates, but that doesn't mean that they are designed for long-term use. Although storing your perfumes properly can prolong the shelf life of that perfume. So when picking a place to store your perfumes, pick a place that does not have direct sunlight or direct light in any way, and pick a place that has a consistent temperature. Now, don't overthink the temperature thing, just room temperature will be just fine. So storing your perfumes in humid environment, like let's say your bathroom, that's a no-no. Many people don't know this, but do you know that when you store your perfumes without attaching the cap, it makes it go bad faster? Well, if you don't know, now you know. So please, when you're storing your perfumes or when you're leaving your perfumes, always, put the cap on. And also, this is quite controversial, but it's somewhat true. But do you know that your perfumes can be stored in a fridge? Means there are so many things that are meant to be stored in the fridge that you just don't know, even some skincare products. I remember a certain time I was using a vitamin C serum. I was storing it in the fridge because it's meant to be stored in the fridge. And I remember a time I was using retinol, which is a vitamin A derivative. I was also storing it in a fridge. And I'm sure many of you have used retinol serum or vitamin C serum, and you've not stored it in a fridge before. Well, now you know it's meant to be stored in a fridge. Not a freezer, please, a fridge. It's not a must storing your perfume in a fridge, okay? But if you must do it, then please do not store your winter fragrances in a fridge, okay? Because these fragrances most of the time contain vanilla, and they contain vanilla, amber, cinnamon, and they are warm and they have a warm aura. So storing it in the fridge can spoil it, okay? So if you must store any fragrance in the fridge at all, store your citrus fragrance or store your fresh fragrance in the fridge. So let's talk about proper application of perfume. As you may know, perfumes are actually made for your skin and not for your clothes. So how they work is that perfume works best with your body heat, okay? So always try to apply it on your pulse point. Right now, I'm going to use this David Beckham's bold instinct as an example to show you how to properly apply perfume on your pulse points. Watch me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's all you need. And if you are wearing a short sleeve, 8, 9. But that's not compulsory, okay? So yeah, an average of 7 sprays and you'll be just fine. Remember I mentioned something about sillage. If you want to improve your sillage or whatever, spray at the back of your neck, okay? So that's what basically gives you sillage. Spraying your perfumes at the back of your neck or at your back. An average of 7 sprays will be just fine, okay? You don't need to spray perfume on your clothes. Perfumes are not made for your clothes, but spraying perfumes on your clothes help, okay, because it makes them last longer. You may be tempted to overspray, but don't overspray, okay, because when it comes to perfumes, less is more. And please, the fact no one compliments your perfume does not mean they don't smell it. Alright, like there are some people that would rather die than compliment. Personally, I won't even lie, I don't like to compliment people. And that's because personally I don't like compliments. That's the only reason I really don't compliment people that way, okay? So you don't have to overspray. The fact people are not telling you that it smells good does not mean you have to overspray to choke them, okay? I'm going to tell you a trick I used to know how to overspray the perfume. You know, just the same way our eyes are always looking at our nose, but our brain ignores it in order to focus on other things. It's just the same way our nose is always smelling our perfumes but chooses to disregard it so it can focus on other smells. So how I know I've oversprayed is when I'm still smelling my perfume hours after I've put it on, then I know I've oversprayed. Okay, so that trick can work for you. You are not meant to be smelling your perfume when you've worn them. You like 1 hour your 1 hour after applying your perfumes, when sitting still, you are not meant to be smelling your perfume because your brain is meant to have blocked it out in order to focus on other things. But a situation where the brain can't block it out, then meaning you've oversprayed. So when you are sitting still 30 minutes or 1 hour after you've applied your perfume, you have no business being able to smell your perfume unless you consciously make an effort to smell it. I know I said an average of 7 sprays, but that doesn't mean you have to use 7 sprays, okay? There are some perfumes that are extra strong that I just need 3 sprays. I'm not kidding you. You just need 3 sprays. And there are some perfumes that are extremely weak that you need up to 15 sprays. So it depends on the kind of perfume, your body chemistry to perfumes, the weather, the type of perfumes you're using. It just depends on so many things, okay? But what I'm saying is that 7 is the average. You can go higher and you can go lower, but just knowing to not overspray. The third point is maceration. Now you know before you boil or fry your meat, you season it and leave it for a while to settle and marinate. Well, macerating is just the perfume term of marinating. Marinating your fragrance simply means leaving your fragrance to settle down and get oxidized. Now, normally this helps improve fragrances that don't have a good performance. The thing is that this is a gamble because most perfumes are macerated before they are being sold. So if you are doing it, it really makes no difference, okay? It might just give you an additional 20-minute performance, okay? So like the time you use in macerating is really not worth it. So it may not be that your perfume needs macerating. It may just be that that particular perfume has a bad performance, and it's fine, it's cool. This over here, this perfume over here, this has a bubblegum scent. It's really, really sweet, but it has a bad performance. So there are just some perfumes like that, alright? But if you ever decide to macerate your perfume, now note, maceration takes months. I'm talking about 6 months. 4, 5, 6 months. Some even leave it for up to 12 months, which is a year. So you just have to be really careful of what you are doing and be sure you want to do it, okay? But let's say you ever decide to macerate your perfume, then just do this. 3 sprays, close it back, and leave it still for months. Try to make it as still as possible. Like, don't let it shake, don't let it move, no nothing. Let it just be still. Yeah, so that's how you macerate your fragrance. But as I said, it's a gamble, so you have to be really sure of what you're doing. Let's talk about price. Now, take it from me as a faghead and a perfume collector when I tell you this. Expensive doesn't always mean better. I'll give you all an instance. This confidential platinum by the House of Latafa, I got it for like €14, and I got this David Beckham's Bold Instinct for I think €36 thereabout, but this lasts better. It gives a better performance and it has given me more compliments than this ever has. So yeah, that should tell you that don't let anybody pressure you into getting what you can't afford. Cut your coat according to your size. Or if you insist on getting that particular fragrance, then get a smaller size. Let's say a 75 ml or a 50 ml. Some sell 30 ml, 35. Okay, it depends on the fragrance, depends on the brand. Now, as a fag head and as a perfume collector, I must advise you of something. You getting an 100 ml perfume is a better value for your money, because if you think about it, you getting a 50 ml perfume is more expensive. It may not look like so, but it's so. I got this Stronger With You Intensely by Emporio Armani. I got it €120 thereabout. I checked the price of the 50 ml, and you hearing half the quantity will also make you think about it being half the price, but that's not always the case. Now, the 50 ml was going for €80 and the 100 ml was going for €120. As you see, it's half the quantity, but it's not half the price, so that's not a better value for your money at all. And besides, most of you all just hear the price of the 100 ml, but do you ever really care to settle down and realize how long it's going to actually last you? Let us do a little bit of mathematics here, okay? A puff like that is 0.1 ml. This is an 100 ml bottle, and let's say I use an average of 8 puffs a day. Alright, now that's 0.1 puffs times 8, that's 0.8 mil gone. If you take 100 ml divided by 0.8, that gives you 125. And let's say 125 an average of 30 days per month. 125 divided by an average of 30 days per month, that gives you 4.1. So you discover that you end up using this fragrance for more than 4 months. Alright, and if you think about it, it's worth it. Let's say you getting one fragrance every 4 months, you're getting a quality fragrance that you like every 4 months. Come on, that's not so bad, and it's a better value for your money. Remember though, expensive doesn't always mean better. I'm just using this as an example because it's really good. And lastly, building your own perfume collection. You see, when building a perfume collection, you don't just go buying fragrances anyhow. You have to know what you are buying, okay? So when building your perfume collection, the first fragrance you're going to need is a winter fragrance, and after that you need to get a summer fragrance. When you do that, you need a versatile fragrance. That's something that can be worn all year round. Then you need to get you an intimate fragrance or a date night fragrance, or as I said earlier on, a panty dropper. After that, just to flex, if you can afford it, get you a designer fragrance. And when you do that, carry on from there, but like just make sure you start with these 5 and then you can branch off to any other division that you want. Just to flex my perfume collection on you guys, if you invite me for a function, now because I have to reluctantly go because I really don't like to go out, I'm going to wear this confidential platinum by House of Latafa, just to go simple and fresh. But if you tell me that my crush is going to be there, I'm going to wear this Jean Paul Gaultier La Mala Parfum. But if you tell me that our boyfriend is going to be there, because for some reasons it's only girls in a relationship that I seem to attract, about that I think I need my pastor to pray for me because I really don't know why. But if our boyfriend is there, I'm wearing this Valentino Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. And if you tell me that my ex-girlfriend is going to be there, you see, I'm going to wear this Stronger With You Intensely by Emporio Armani, just so she can perceive the boy from far and know that, yeah, this fresh boy always smells good. So yeah, I guess that's the major thing you need to know about perfumes. I really do guess that's everything you need to know about perfumes, okay? If you have questions, I'll be in the comment section as usual. I'll be responding to everything and anything you say. Alright, so thank you if you came this far. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video. Share this video too, please. Okay. Thank you for watching. I'm Sode, and I'm out.